Hello and welcome once again to Doom Colonist, the online tabletop role-playing game show which excels at making you feel uncomfortable when you watch it in front of your parents. Tonight we are continuing with what was supposed to be a short scenario in Those Dark Places. Look how that turned out. And I'm joined by this trio of wonderful people, including two from our friends at the Fluff and Hammer. Hello everyone, how you doing?
Oh, good.
Yeah. For clarity, I am not from the Fluff and Hammer.
Dudley is indeed not a Warhammer geek. That makes him the other odd man out.
But I do know them.
He's one of the 50% on the show that isn't given over to the ways of the G-dubs. But never mind all that, We need to talk about just how lethal this game has been turning out to be.
This is just a record of my lost hit points at this point.
Oh, don't be showing us the sensitive information there, Dudley. At the end of our last session, I think it's fair to say that one closed out with a bang before it went out on a dramatic high note. But my goodness, we've got, what is it, 2 characters now? I think, well, 1 character down to 1 hit point. Andy, you're having a great time out there in space, aren't you? It's like...
I'm so sorry, Andy.
Are you?
Yes.
We're all friends here, Andy. We all feel your pain.
I didn't sign up to that. Oh.
You will. Yeah, but Andy, you're actually at -1 hit point now. I mean, this is like...
Yeah. Nearly out?
That's like 1 away. That's 1 hit point away from impending death.
True.
As per the rules. And like, I gotta say, looking at your on-screen avatar, I'm not sure how concerned you would be about that.
Not particularly. It's all good.
It's just Thursday to you, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
So have we done this like Nightmare? Like, as he gets closer to death, he just gets more and more scully.
No, I'm always like this.
Ooh, nasty. Yeah.
Ah, right. So we've done it like Nightmare, we've just done it really badly.
Just started it wrong. Instead of turning it with a full fleshy face, it's just a skull on a stick being waved around.
Bong. I just want to ask you guys, how are you all feeling about your prospects of survival in this scenario?
I'm fine. I know what's going to kill me.
Well,
I think I might be suffocating in guilt very, very soon. Since our last recording, I have sat with these heavy feelings of guilt for a character that doesn't exist, for a person who isn't real, but yet the guilt has been very, very strong. It's ridiculous.
something that's worth actually getting into for the sake of the viewers at home, because like at the moment, as of our time of recording this, I haven't actually edited any of these episodes together. But there was something from last session that I am going to edit out. But Adam, you actually wanted to make a dice roll, didn't you, to decide
Yes.
what your character is going to do?
Yes.
Not actually something that's in the rules for the game.
No.
But I was just curious, what was your thinking there?
I wanted it to be a very split decision. So he was torn. Salvador is torn between, oh God, this man is bleeding to death at my feet, and it's my fault. But also, I want to know what's in that room, because that room might be my way of surviving. And the reason I did that, I wanted to do a dice roll, was because then it took the onus of the decision off me, and I didn't have to worry about the horrible feelings of guilt that I might feel, which I then certainly did.
And now I feel terrible for saying to you, don't do that. Do it this way instead.
No, because, to be honest, narratively speaking, that's exactly what he was going to do. Salvador is a very, very mixed up man. He's not well.
Now, to be fair to Salvador, both healing Ted Branson and walking away from Ted Branson solve the problem of Ted Branson bleeding to death at your feet.
That's true.
That's very, very true. Yeah, he's a... I think the best way to describe it is when I was coming up with the character, I had this idea of a character who didn't sleep well, didn't eat well, didn't look after himself particularly well, which is why his strength is so low. Everything is just spent on getting away from the mob. That's everything.
He sounds like me, Adam.
And as a result, his mental health has suffered, his physical health has suffered, and he's not prone to making. Well, we saw that in the very first episode, where the first thing he did was put his hand up and just go, "Stop!" Tried to talk to a robot, failed, and then just started shooting at it.
Something that I think I need to sort of get off my chest a little bit. I feel like it's something that I need to say for the benefit of viewers at home about this scenario, is that we did pull this one together very, very quickly. This has been a very, very sort of clumsily drawn together affair, and I've spent a lot of the time behind the scenes sort of peddling to make sure it all kind of hangs together. And, you know, I do, just because this is me, this is what I'm like, I do kind of feel a little bit like I've not done as good a job of kind of pulling this together as a cohesive narrative as I would have liked. I mean, it's not, I don't think it's gone completely off the rails or anything like that. I think we're producing something of good quality. I think we're having fun, so hopefully people at home are seeing that as well.
You three might be having fun. I'm having horrendous guilt.
We're all having emotions.
I don't think I have laughed so much during recorded sessions of this show as I have during the Gramtech incident. I mean, it really has been a blast just sitting down and doing this one with you. And in a way, I mean, considering this was originally planned to be like 2 sessions and then stop.
I did tell you.
You did. I never learn. But I feel like we might be just about halfway through at this point. I was thinking we would finish this week. I'm actually wondering now, looking at the planning, like this is going to go to session 4.
H, given Andy and my hit points, it might just be a duo.
Oh, no. See, what's going to happen here is if Andy dies, if Ted Branson dies, I do intend to use the scalpel in my pocket to cut out his brain and stick it in one of the robots just to see what would happen.
Oh my god.
Well, that was better than what I thought was going to happen, which is you saying, and stick it in guns.
I've got fairly set ideas about how that kind of stuff would work in this scenario, and I'll say no more about that for now.
Messily.
Oh no, I've got no ability to do it. It would just literally be stuffing a brain. It's like trying to put beans back into a can, you know.
Oh, man.
I do want to say, whilst we're recording, whilst the audience at home's listening, Andy, I'm so sorry.
Why? It's fine.
I was going to ask you, Andy, like, how do you feel about starting this session unconscious and close to death? But I mean, it sounds like you're pretty
in the game.
No, fine. Yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah.
I spent most of episode 1 unconscious and close to death. I highly recommend it. It was very relaxing.
Yes, but in fairness, there was something that happened with your character in session 1, which we kind of glossed over, which was really cool. Which was that for part of that session, you were the Human Torch.
I was.
Dudley the Fleshlight.
But not in an IP infringing fashion.
Not in the cool Marvel way, in
No.
a very legally distinct sense. I mean...
No, in this sense.
That's my night vision gone.
You probably can't even see Andy moving anymore.
To be fair, I can't anyway, but...
Oh, really?
Shall we get down to it and play the next exciting instalment of the Gramtech Incident?
The Gramtech Incident, or 3 men enter, 1 man might leave, possibly not.
Those dark places beyond Thunderdome, yeah?
So you've been to Wolverhampton before?
We don't need another hero, and we haven't even got one, so...
We have barely got a hero.
But we've got a copyright strike.
No, my singing is so bad. There is no way any AI is going to go, I know that song.
Hey, I'm still having conversations with the lawyers about you using the lyrics to Wimbop last time. But before we run the risk of all of this coming off as being incredibly self-congratulatory and self-indulgent to our viewers, we should probably dish up the goods and get to the session. So what I'm going to do, I'll read another one of our trademark recaps, and again, I had to do this very quickly, so I hope I didn't forget anything or leave anything important out. But we'll get into this and get back to our adventures in space. So are you all sitting comfortably?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm doing something wrong. In our last explosive episode, the maintenance team sent to Gramtech facility PX01223AT encountered a strange gelatinous creature which quickly revealed itself to be hostile. During their struggle with this bizarre amorphous creature, Salvador Splashraag was temporarily incapacitated before the creature was literally blasted in two by Guns McGregor, whereupon both parts of it fled the area. This left the team to heal, collect themselves, and return their attention to the mission at hand, working out why the facility had mysteriously gone dark 2 days earlier. Upon reactivating the station's JERI 9000 AI core, they were frustrated to find that it wasn't able to give them much useful information, stating that power fluctuations across the station had taken it offline, but it did direct them to restore auxiliary power in order to access the station's surveillance logs. Before they could do this, however, Salvador noticed something suspicious. One of the nearby bunk rooms had been fitted with a biometric lock. This brought to mind the ominous message he'd received just prior to the mission, and his past experience with the mob suggested that the station might have been set up as a pickup location for contraband goods. Ted Branson hacked the lock on the door, successfully opening it, but paying a heavy price into the bargain. The lock had been fitted with an explosive charge which detonated, seriously injuring Ted and knocking Guns McGregor off his feet. In the aftermath of the blast, Salvador peered into the open door of the bunk room, where he saw a large box strapped to a table. Curiosity getting the better of him, he opened the box to find a handwritten note. The message there read, "In case you're wondering, yes, I took one. We're even now. I expect to be left alone." Beneath that note, under a sheet of corrugated paper, were several ingots of the most highly coveted material in the universe, xenithite. So, Salvador Splashraag, as you stand before the open box with the smoke of the bomb blast still stinging your nostrils and the faint groans of Guns McGregor in your ears, what do you do?
Salvador is currently very glassy-eyed. He's not running on full cylinders. He's kind of staring into the middle distance and kind of looking around. You know he's not quite right because he starts to roll up the corrugated paper and he stuffs it into his pocket. He stares out for a few seconds, not really looking at anything, puts his hand down, picks up the xenithite, and places it into a little pouch just on his shirt. How big are these things?
I was going to say, that's going to be quite a feat because it's going to drag your shirt off.
All right, fair news.
Would you like a description of these
Yes,
ingots?
please. Yes,
Okay.
please.
The way we're going to imagine this is that xenithite is a very special, precious ore.
Mm-hmm.
It's also extremely difficult to come by. It's very rare. It has, because of its special properties, it's extremely desirable.
Mm-hmm.
And when it is recovered in any kind of quantity, if it's intended for storage or if it's intended to be bartered with, which in itself is rare because of the applications of this thing, it gets pressed into ingots, which we can say are kind of like, if you see gold ingots,
Mm-hmm.
like gold bullion, we're talking the same kind of shape, but maybe a little bit smaller. This box that they were in, if you could imagine something like a presentational box for cigars, that's the kind of deal that you're looking at there.
Okay. For some reason, I had them in my head. It was like cubes about this big.
Oh no.
No.
They're full on Yorkie bars.
Okay. I'm going to take a bite out of one.
Don't do that. Yeah, you can tell this guy hasn't been watching The Cradle. We didn't actually, I don't think, establish how many ingots there are. Just that there is, very conspicuously, there's one missing from this box. So you would not be able to put them in a small carry bag or something. If you had, say, a rucksack or something, or some kind of heavier duty storage, you could do that. But I don't believe you actually have anything like that on your person.
No. Okay. Well then, he's going to look at them, and he's going to think, how to get these things out of here. So he's got these things. He might be able to buy some peace, some quiet, some people not chasing him around. Then he goes back to the note. Yes, I took one. And he thinks to himself, I could take another one. Leave that there. Just change it into, I took two. And maybe...
How's your penmanship?
No pen, damn. But then something kind of clicks into his brain and he spins on his heel and goes, oh, God, no! And runs over to Branson.
Okay.
Something clicks. He kind of comes back to earth.
Let's put a pin in that, just for a moment, because I want to find out what's going on with Guns McGregor at this point.
So, Guns obviously got smacked into the wall at high velocity, but he's used to that, and he gets up like he has no particular care in the world. If Salvador's walking out the room, he'll be like, what the heck was that? That was pretty big. Not been thrown around like that since my last bouncy castle.
What I'm interested in here is what is going through McGregor's mind, or what has gone through McGregor's mind as you've witnessed this spectacle of first the detonation. Obviously you've been caught up in that.
But he's not scared of explosions.
Okay. How do you rationalize what you've seen, where in the aftermath of the explosion, Salvador Splashraag appears to have stepped over the body of Ted Branson, who may be dead for all you know?
See, the thing here is, as far as Guns is concerned, Salvador, obviously the senior person who knows this stuff, he's making decisions for the mission, and that's entirely Guns' approach, you know? So he's not actually that concerned about either of them. Salvador might want to extrapolate to how concerned Guns ultimately is about him as well, but for the moment he's not that concerned about Ted.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, it's assuming there's a more mission critical thing that Salvador was doing. As it turns out, a little like larceny, but we'll find that out.
One detail I'm going to impose here to fit the narrative is that the party were caught in a fairly sizable detonation of an anti-tampering device. That's taken you down to 1 hit point. Now, the way health and damage works in those dark places is that as long as you've got 1 hit point, you're able to be up and mobile and move around. But that blast knocked you backwards into the wall, and it has knocked the wind out of you. So you're not in the best of shape. One thing I will say is that as you are picking yourself up from where you've fallen after the blast from the anti-tampering device, as you stand, you do notice immediately that something is wrong with your suit. As you're kind of steadying yourself and trying to right yourself, you notice that there's something wet running from your back down over the legs of the environment suit that you're in. And I don't know how concerned McGregor is about this, but what I'm going to say to you is that in that blast, your environment suit's internal coolant reserve has been compromised, and that's ruptured, and it's
Would
burst.
Guns know that's what that slightly damp feeling is, do we think?
Unless there's something significant going on in McGregor's childhood that you don't necessarily feel like sharing with us. Yes, you would.
Okay, right.
You're going to know instantly that it's coolant, because this coolant has a kind of like a pale, almost luminescent blue quality to it. And it's pooling on the floor where you fell.
And since the incident with the dyed asparagus, definitely nothing else has looked like that's run down his leg, so...
That is not the childhood experience I thought you were going to have had.
Okay, we need to talk more about your childhood later, but... He's also not concerned about this, but will obviously be immediately suggesting to Salvador that it might be a good idea to look for repairs to both the suit and Ted, if Ted is in fact still alive.
Ted is still alive, but
Woo!
And I feel bad for Andy here because, like, the first half of this session is not going to be much fun for you.
That's fine.
Because you are unconscious and 1 hit point away from death.
Okay, in that case, if Salvador's walked out the room, then... Salvador, I've got a leak. He probably has several leaks. We should probably consider repairing both. Any ideas?
Salvador bursts out of the room like a bat out of hell. Something switched on in his brain now.
Mm-hmm.
He just jumps straight onto the ground next to Ted, starts looking around, looking for what might have happened, what might have gone wrong. I've got a med pack on my person. Yep, I've got medical kits. Can I use a medical kit to stabilize Andy and start the process of trying to stop him from dying any further?
You can indeed. The way that's going to work is that by...
if I get this wrong, I'll kill him.
No, that will bring him up to 0 hit points.
Yeah.
Which means that Ted is no longer in danger of dying. He wasn't in danger of dying until his health dropped to -2. That's the way it works.
So can I
game.
change it from -1 to 0 now?
You can indeed.
Okay, I'll do that on my sheet.
That medical pack, we're going to say that works automatically. That's enough to stabilize Ted Branson. But you're going to need help to restore him to consciousness. Now, at this point, you've exhausted the medical supplies that you have on your person.
And Guns doesn't have any, by the way.
I can't remember if we decided if you had any similar supplies on your ship.
Yep.
But there is an issue there, if you recall from session 1. The landing bay to the facility has depressurized.
Is leaking much like my suit, yes.
It's going to be difficult getting Ted back there if that's what you wanted to do.
I think the best thing we can do for him now is get him towards the dock as soon as we can and start the process of trying to get him back on his feet. I don't know how to fix your suit.
We might find something. I can probably wrap a bandage around a tube or something. I'm sure it'll be fine.
As you're having this conversation, suddenly the lights in the facility,
well, shit,
all dim. They come down. It's almost like the facility has fallen offline again briefly, and you can hear this horrible groaning sound of the facility's power generator winding down. So you are plunged into darkness.
Now, I'm no medical expert, but would I be correct, Salvador, in assuming that the auto dock might run on power?
Yes.
Bugger.
We need... You are a big man. You have lots of strength.
Thank you.
Can you carry Ted into the auto dock? I will run back into computer room, engineering room, and start process of trying to get that back up and running.
Is that something I need any form of role for, Mr. GM?
No, you can do
All right.
that.
In that case, I shall, as gently as it's possible for a human brick outhouse to do, I will attempt to fireman's lift Ted and very gently cram him into an auto dock once I get there.
How well does he do?
He's able to do that. That's not a problem.
Don't forget to take his clothes off.
I just know that Andy is dying to do this. So go on. What is Ted mumbling in his comatose state?
Why? Salvador, why?
Ooh. No, he's Salvador S.
I was expecting something much goofier than that.
I mean, I'm just pleased you haven't made me roll to make sure that I put Ted Branson into the autodoc feet first.
I want to know what Salvador is going to do with these xenithite ingots, though, because you mentioned that you were of a mind to take one or all of them, and I'm gonna say as well, because we didn't put a number on how many there were.
No.
In this box, I can tell you now that there are 7.
7 left of 8, presumably. Then.
Yes.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, Ted had a rucksack. Ted had a little bag.
Did I?
Am I remembering that correctly, or am I misremembering that?
I don't think I did. I did.
No?
I had a stun baton, a robot arm, and an exploded arm that's gone now.
Like every well-equipped space explorer would.
Yeah.
It's no 50 foot of hempen rope, is it?
I don't think we did
No.
establish
Shit.
that
I'm
Branson had
certain
it.
No. No.
Yeah, I'm sure that you said you put the robot arm in a bag, but alright. No, well, not to worry. Not to worry. Okay. When Guns is dragging Ted down the... carrying Ted
Thank you.
nicely in a gentle yet firm manner,
Thank you.
much akin to a fleshy forklift truck.
Thank you, Ish.
I'm going to nip back into the room. I'm going to grab the box, and I'm going to carry it with me to the engineering room.
Okay. As you join Guns McGregor in the main concourse, suddenly the lights throughout the facility flicker back to life momentarily. They go out again and then come up again, although at a lower level of illumination.
Okay.
And this sort of suggests not so much emergency lighting, just that there is reduced power going through the facility. So the important thing is that maybe your situation doesn't look as dire as it did a moment ago. Maybe the power hasn't completely failed. But in that moment as well, in the flickering light, Guns, as you move into the concourse,
Bollocks.
you can hear unmistakably a very odd sound. It's coming from not that far away from where you impacted the wall when the biometric lock exploded. And this sound has a kind of a sickly, wet, suckling sound. As you look in the direction of the sound, you can see that coolant that had leaked out of your suit. The faint luminescence of that is contributing to the failing light in the concourse, and you can see the smaller of the two gelatinous blob creatures that you saw earlier has just kind of maneuvered itself. Somehow it's crept into the main concourse from you don't know where, and it's sat over a pool of this leaked coolant. What do you do?
Okay, so thinking mission. My options are shoot the thing that doesn't have a gun and is closer to Salvador anyway, or try to restore our full strength as a party and hope it hasn't noticed me, and also wonder if coolant is strawberry flavour. So I think he's going to just keep moving towards Autodoc and try to ignore what's going on there.
Okay, alright. I'm not going to make you roll for that. Do you draw Salvador's attention to the creature at all?
Is Salvador still in the concourse?
I'm running up behind you, looking flustered and
In that
somewhat
case,
guilty.
I could definitely do a
Guns.
behind me.
Guns. You are leaking fluid, yes?
Yes, and I am fairly certain it's the suit and not me.
Okay. Can you give yourself a wiggle? I want you to try and get some of the coolant over on the wall, on the far wall. Give yourself a good wiggle. And try
I mean,
and get
bear in
some
mind, I am still carrying Ted here, but I will.
I'm aware you've got Ted in a loving embrace, so that's okay.
I will shake it like a name brand picture. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Just if you want, I'll give you fries with that shake.
Ouch.
Well, Dudley's milkshake does bring the boys to the yard.
Yes, but hopefully it doesn't bring horrible gelatinous monsters to the yard. It's about to bring a horrible gelatinous monster to the yard, isn't it?
I'm actually... I'm not wanting to assume what the two of you are proposing to do here, so spell it out for me.
I mean, only one of us is proposing to do anything.
The idea I've got is that if the coolant is puddled in a large area, like on a spotter of the area, on a far wall, it gives us time to get into this other room whilst that thing goes after the bigger puddle.
You're assuming that the creature is interested more in the coolant than it is in you.
Yes.
It might not even like strawberry.
Okay, I mean, I will say if that's what you want to do, there's nothing stopping Guns from just sort of wiping the leg of his suit and smearing a handful of this stuff on the
That's
wall.
Good wiggle Guns.
Why don't you milk him?
Oh,
The coolant.
Salvador gets on his hands and knees and just starts like trying to get a big chunk of it off and just slamming it on the wall. Yeah.
Okay, we'll say that you do that. And perhaps nervously, the pair of you are watching as Guns smears a handful of this. There's no way to make this sound pleasant.
there is not.
As you smear this faintly luminescent blue coolant material over the wall, perhaps the two of you are both casting nervous glances toward this this smaller of the two creatures that you assume are at large in the facility. And if the creature notices you doing this, it doesn't give you any indication that it's seen this at all. It's just sat there over this pool of coolant, and it's quite content where it is. It doesn't acknowledge you at all, so you're able to move past it.
Excellent. I've been wrong before and I will be wrong again.
It's fine. It can stay there enjoying its fancy new fountain view voltage. Let's get Ted to the dock.
Has Ted's unconscious body still got hold of the... Oh no, the shock stick was out of...
Out of shock.
Yeah.
It might be in my trousers.
In the aftermath of the explosion, those items would have been scattered. Ted would have dropped those.
That's fair.
So whatever equipment Branson had, I think you had a handheld welding torch
I had a
as well.
robot arm and a stick, which I'd combined together. Did I have anything else? No, that was it.
I may not have had professionals.
Two of you had picked up welding tools, or little handheld welding torches from the admin area, hadn't you?
Yeah.
I've got a feeling that was Salvador and Branson. It's up to you whether you want to retrieve those or leave them where they are for the time being.
I think we'll leave them with the oven now.
Yeah. And you move back into the admin room. What happens there?
Guns, is there power to the auto dock?
Is there, in fact, power to the auto dock? Either way, I'm opening it and starting to, as gently as possible, and I stress feet first, put Ted in.
Just rocks bottoms him right in.
As you move into the admin block again, you see that in this room, the lighting has failed and it's stayed offline.
Yeah.
But that's not to say that there is a complete absence of light in the room. You can still see tiny little dots and panels of iridescent light from various pieces of equipment. The auto dock is lit up like a Christmas tree. There's still internal lighting in there, so you can see that it has some functionality. But as you move to put Branson into it, you notice that the user interface panel on the thing, it has like a glowing screen on there which says low power, pod in maintenance mode.
Well, that's good. I need it to maintain Ted.
Well, you're able to place Ted into the auto dock, but it's not actually going to do anything at this point.
Guns, what I need you to do, I need you to go see if Gerald is working. If Gerald is not working, then I need to go through the engineering room and see if I can get the power back on.
Okay.
So, I suppose, what could happen to Ted if we split up and leave him there?
Well,
He's as safe as he's going to be anywhere in the auto dock.
you can seal him in the auto dock. It might be worth having a look around to see if
Weld
there's...
him in.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well.
We can put a sheet over the auto dock or something.
A bag over my head.
And actually, that's really good. Because if we put a sheet over the auto dock and he does die, then he's got all the equipment he needs to become a ghost.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, I'm fully in a, like, future coffin, aren't I, technically?
Basically, yes.
It's just shoot him out the airlock like Spock.
Although I should say,
My spirit's just got to have the sheet fall on it. Nice.
Ted, of course, this is the 25th century. So here we don't call them future coffins, we just call them coffins.
I don't understand. Oh, I could become a ghost in the machine. I could take over Jerry 9000.
If you could, that would actually help me out.
The rise of Ted 9000.
I'm sorry, I can't do that, Ted.
So the panel for Jerry is back out in the concourse, right?
What I would say is that you do have the option that you can search the admin block or elsewhere in the station to see if you can find any additional kind of traditional medical supplies besides the autodoc, anything that might...
Alright, so let's at least have a scout through admin, and while we're doing so, I walk up to Salvador as he's searching and say, Salvador, do you know why I'm not scared of explosions?
I've been wondering about this. You've got a certain way when it comes to anything going boom that I've noticed.
Do you know how you're going to die?
Probably going to be shot.
Yes, but I know I'm going to be shot. You see, everyone in my family dies in a manner suggested by their name. So I am going to be shot. But, knowing that, no explosion is going to kill me. So I don't mind. It's been happening for generations. My dad, Grenade McGregor, blew himself up. If you go further back, Trebuchet McGregor got thrown into the sea. Torpedo McGregor died when his U-boat sunk. Biological warfare McGregor was not pretty. It's not pretty. We thought we'd broken the curse with my granddad, Rocket McGregor. He had a decorated military career. He retired, choked on a salad at his leaving do. So I know how I'm going to die. It's going to be via some sort of gun. So everything else, fine. I'm essentially invincible.
I have another question.
Yes.
Both were on the subject of death and dying. Do you know much about mobsters?
Not really. We tend to avoid organised crime, except in that sense that we are the government to a degree.
I'm just wondering. There's a few things aren't making sense to me here, but it could just be concussion. But I don't know. Something seems off.
Here's a question. At this point, I don't believe that Guns McGregor is aware of the note or the Zenithite.
No.
Have you noticed this?
Neither note. Not the one that was left for Salvador at the start, nor the one you found in the box.
No, the next thing I was going to do was hand Guns the note that was with the Zenithite. And then I'm going to show Guns the note that I got. The email, so to speak, that I got.
Sally boy raises an eyebrow at Salvador. You're about to learn you really need to pay more attention to who you work for. Warm regards, Briscoe. Well, that doesn't make sense, because technically you're working for me and I'm lovely.
You see my concern.
Do you know this Briscoe?
Yes.
Does he make gravy?
No.
What does he do?
He makes dead people.
Oh. Does he use a gun to make dead people?
Occasionally.
Fuck. My one weakness.
Sometimes concrete, sometimes jelly. In one case, an irate ferret.
Oh, I'm not worried about the ferret, but if he's got a gun, we're screwed.
The ferret might be armed.
Ooh.
It's a well-trained ferret.
Yes, it's suddenly occurring to me that the word gun has a pretty broad definition.
Yes, you can fire a ferret out of a missile launcher.
And worse than that, Guns McGregor's middle name is Ferret.
But I don't think you need to worry, because I don't think a ferret can dual wield, and your name is Guns.
Ah. Ooh, I'd never considered that. So anything with a single gun cannot in fact kill me. Salvador, you're a genius.
I have been told this. It is how I ended up working a medical job for the mob. Long story, not going to get into it. But you'll see my concern, because with this letter, I'm basically being told that I cannot trust you.
I am considering telling you you can trust me, but even I recognize the irony. and I'm only slightly sure what that means. I listened to this song that tried to explain irony to me, but it was very confused and Canadian.
The song itself is ironic. That is the point.
Oh.
Nothing in the song is ironic.
It wasn't actually. It was just filled with multiple instances of bad luck, but we'll let that pass.
It's okay. We're going to be listening to it 15 times on the loop on the way back if we escape, so...
The viewers are all going to be thinking, like, well, our younger viewers are like, huh? What? What's an Alanis Morissette? What?
In my, it works better in my home tongue of Brummie.
I've been trying to place that accent for so long.
It's New Wolverhampton. It's.
Oh, God. All I'm thinking is the last time I heard that accent was in the Star of Kabul, so let's just avoid the classic doomed colonist running joke and continue perhaps to search the admin block. Do we need to do some kind of check to see if we find anything that might help us both conceal and or repair the autodock?
That's a good question. I will say no. There's no need to do that. You just really got to scour the room and look for anything. Or you could check the autodock. There's a menu there with an interface that you can check through to see if it can give you any advice.
Menus and interfaces, not so much Guns' thing, so that might have to be Salvador.
Oh, look. I'm going to go down. I'm going to look at the menus and see if there's a way of running it on, like, safe mode or low power mode.
Surely an autodock should always be in safe mode.
Well, interesting thing to consider about a complex piece of medical machinery like that is that it's conceivable that this kind of thing, if it were to experience some kind of malfunction while it was operating, then yeah, it could conceivably do more harm than good.
Yeah.
So you would assume that there are certain safeguards built in.
So I think that the best thing to do then is we need to get the power steady. So it's back to the little engineering power room. Can we have the map, please?
We can indeed. So here's the map with your characters all in the admin room again, which seems to be your favourite room in the complex so far.
We don't want to go further. Guns. I want to go look in the power control station, see if we can get that back up and running. I want you to look at Gerald, see if Gerald is working, and if not, have a quick look in the bunk room. We still need to get to the produce vats. The bunk room that hasn't been blown up might have something we could use.
We'll call this bunk room 2.
An exploded bunk room.
Yes.
There is also a storage room that you can see there off the main concourse. That would be another place that you could potentially look in on.
Yeah.
But then your knowledge of the facility is that you might not necessarily expect to find medical supplies in there.
Yeah, but it would make more sense to Salvador that the bunk room is going to be either have illicit or illicit substances that might be of use.
Well, the last one you checked in certainly had contraband in it, didn't it?
So we're walking out of admin. Guns is quite happy to walk over to Jerry's control panel. Thanks to getting the slightly wrong end of the stick regarding image formats, he believes it's pronounced Gary, but that's fine.
It's Gerald!
That takes talent because it's spelt with a J.
Yes, but certain other things are spelt with a G, and somehow. So the control panel, is this a push-to-talk affair for Gary?
Well, JERI 9000 has been affected once again by the momentary power outage, and you can see that the screen that's active there on the interface panel where you interacted with JERI 9000 last session, that's glitching out slightly.
Okay.
And as you come close to the panel, you can hear some faint bursts of static coming from the speaker there. Now, you're able to interact with JERI simply by speaking to it. So
okay. All right, Jezza?
Hello. I am not feeling well.
Tell me about it. How many walls have you bounced off in the last 10 minutes?
I am built into this wall. It is impossible for me.
So I bounced off you. I do apologize.
I am impaired in functionality.
While impaired, do you happen to know where someone would keep medical supplies?
To my knowledge, medical supplies are stored in the admin block and bunk room 2.
That is helpful. Thank you very much. Do you have any tips for making you well and or the current power situation? Because there doesn't appear to be enough AC/DC and we are back in black.
Thank you for your concern. I am unable to fully comprehend.
Can you get the power back on?
Power. 1 moment, please.
JERI 9000's screen flickers. You hear this awful, very concerning, distorted electronic noise coming over the speaker. When JERI 9000 says it's not feeling well, you really get the sense of that. And then suddenly, JERI 9000's voice comes back, feeling a little bit more confident, you could say, a little more resolute, and it says,
Thank you for bearing with me. It appears that the station has suffered another of the most recently occurring power fluctuations. You can alleviate the effects of these fluctuations by visiting the computer core. There you will find a sub-access panel. That panel will provide access to my auxiliary power reserves. These should enable certain power management failsafes and provide access to my higher functions.
Great. Yeah, I think he took that in. So he's going to yell across to Salvador that he needs to go to the power room and deal with a U-boat access panel, which apparently has, like, power and shit in it. Spare power.
one thing to bear in mind here, let me go back onto the map screen to show you.
He absolutely will be describing it as spare power.
As you can see on the map, the computer core, which is where JERI 9000 has directed you to, that is a separate location to the power control station. So the power control station is really for overall management of the station. That's where Salvador restored artificial gravity, climate control, all that kind of thing within the station. The computer core is more to do with managing and maintaining JERI 9000. So that's where you want to go to do anything that pertains to the station's AI.
Once Gunn stopped shouting, Salvador turns around and says, I'm standing right next to you. This is a very small corridor.
Sorry.
Ow!
Little bit on edge.
We're all on edge. Take a breath. Check your pulse. Like that. You know, neck on the neck. Check your pulse. You're okay. You'll be alright.
What about the creature, though, that was in the hallway? I noticed that you haven't picked up on that.
Well, during this conversation, I think Salvador would just turn very slowly round. Is the creature still there?
You look toward the puddle of coolant that had come out of Guns McGregor's ruptured suit, which this creature had been happily chowing down on, as far as you could tell. You notice that that puddle has more or less gone. There are just the faintest traces of that, and there is no sign of that small creature.
Turn back. I think we're okay.
Alright.
You'll take bunk room 2, or as we'd like to call it, unboomed room. I'll take computer core, which is also, at this moment in time, unboomed. No boom today, boom tomorrow.
Can we keep it to one boom a day?
I make no promises.
In that case, Salvador is walking along holding the gun, but not in an especially threatening way as he makes his way towards the bunk room. Is this bunk room locked?
You try the handle on the door of the bunk room. Well, I say handle, it's more like a kind of a push panel That door slides open.
Sweet.
It's dark in there. There's no illumination, not even like you had in the admin room. There are no electrical devices emitting any kind of light whatsoever.
Can I take a step back, grab a handful of the coolant, and attempt to hold it out in front of me in the hope of making a makeshift torch?
You can, but remember, you do have flashlights built into your suits.
Honestly thought you were going to say, can I just start shooting and navigate my way around by the muzzle flare?
There's no reason to suspect there's a gun in there. It does actually seem fairly in character that he would think he was really clever for going for the luminescent goo and forget that on his suit he literally has a torch.
Okay. So you're just going to splash that in there?
Yeah. No, I'm in the hand.
Okay.
Just to create a very small amount of light. He's going to be going along the desks,
That's really not going to give out enough light to really see much more, but you can do that. That's fine.
He's going to try that first. Maybe he'll remember the torch in a minute.
But it's on the other end of the hand, isn't it? So you put the hand out and then you just go, oh yeah.
All right. He sticks out his hand and goes,
I'm so clever. And that miraculously affords enough light in the room that you can see at the far end of the bunk room. There is a tiny metallic locker, which has got like a white rectangle and a 6-pointed red cross on it.
A non-copyrighted medical symbol.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes. All right. So he is military trained. He is going to shine the torch around and look for anyone hiding under the bunk who may or may not have, a gun or something less dangerous, like a nuclear warhead. Again, he knows how he's going to die. But he is going to make his way across to that case if it appears safe in the room.
Yep, it's fine. There's no trace of anything. You can't hear any horrible, wet alien sounds. There are no signs of any untoward activity going on in here. It's just an empty room.
I hate to sound like a suspicious Ian, but the medical case, is that in any way locked?
No, that's a simple pull-open thing.
Okay.
You could just go there and raid it for the contents.
In that case, while admittedly slightly at arm's length, we're going to open it.
And inside, you will find 2 small packs of medical gel.
Sweet. Is that luminescent?
It's not. It's a very squidgy, kind of wrong-feeling substance, even when it's kind of trussed up in its plastic baggies.
All right, so I will take both of those, and given that I'm not going to know the user interface, I'm going to walk back towards the computer core.
Okay. Slowly, cautiously, perhaps keeping an eye out for
reasonably
that
cautiously, because he doesn't entirely trust these things, but also knows they're not going to kill him, of course.
You can't see it there, but disconcertingly, as you walk back towards the admin room and the auto dock, the lights in the concourse start to flicker again. And you're just going to apply this gel.
No, I'm going back to Salvador, not to Ted. I have no idea how this shit works.
Okay, all right.
Salvador has entered the computer core.
What are you doing in there?
I'm looking for any form of reboot or... What do I see? What is actually around me when I walk in?
Inside the computer core, you've got, unlike the bunk room that Guns McGregor went into, there is some very low illumination here. It's kind of emergency lighting.
Mm-hmm.
And the computer core is a very small, boxy room. It's lined with control panels because JERI 9000 being a very sophisticated AI construct, any kind of human interaction or maintenance that has to be done, it's obviously going to be quite complex. So there are controls for everything. But built into the wall that's facing you as you come into the room is a direct access panel. And this is a very simple control panel to facilitate access and activation of emergency power, backup power, that kind of thing. You do notice, however, that there appears to be some kind of electrical damage to the panel there. It's almost like something is, at some point, maybe caught fire.
Mm-hmm.
So you may have to be a little bit cautious about what you do here.
Is there a fire extinguisher in the room with me?
There is, but nothing is actually on fire.
No. I just want to make sure it's there.
Yep.
Just for my own well-being, I want to know it's there.
Oh, I could tell you as well that as you draw close to this emergency access panel, you can also see that there's a kind of a inset into the wall where it meets the ceiling, where you have kind of air vents, pipework and all sorts that services the infrastructure of the station. You can see that there are dents and bulges there in the pipework that almost makes it appear as if something has bulged there from inside it.
No, it's got a Samsung battery in it.
It's a little more dramatic than that kind of effect. It looks like almost like something has been in that space and exerted
pushed.
pressure trying to almost like there was something in there that was trying to get out.
Okay, I am picking up the fire extinguisher. I'm not being silly. I'm going to keep it with me. And as I get to the emergency hatch, I am going to just point the nozzle of the fire extinguisher up towards the air vents. So if something starts moving, I can pull and just start spraying the air vent. Because Salvador's a paranoid man, and he does not like the idea of something gooey trying to eat his face again. That happened at least twice.
Seems fair.
Okay, can I open the access patch?
You can indeed. As you do, you see that there is a very simple keyboard. It's I say it's a keyboard. It's more like the numerical keyboard on like an office keyboard. There are buttons assigned to certain functions, and there's also a grill. And you can see that there are some faint traces of something that looks like the pale blue luminescent coolant that you've seen everywhere. This is more of a fire retardant thing, so it seems obvious that something has gone down in this room, probably as a result of the power fluctuations across the station, and it's been shut down before it can have any further effect.
I suddenly have the idea that right now Salvador has no idea what he's doing, and he was hoping for a big sign that says "to reboot computer press here."
That's there. That's there.
Okay,
you've got like a panel above the keypad that provides you instructions on the various different functions that you can go through.
Right then, can I reboot Gerald and hopefully start the process off of him taking control of the station again?
You can indeed.
Do I need to roll something?
Give us an education roll. And I'm going to say this is difficulty 6.
I rolled an 8.
An 8, that's a success. That's fine. That means that as you tap in those controls, like carefully following the instructions that are provided there, the emergency lighting in the computer core, that comes up to full lighting. And you kind of are aware that the lights in the corridor behind you are coming up to full illumination again. Guns McGregor, where are you at the moment?
Walking out of the bunk room towards the computer core to see Salvador carrying my loot.
All right then. So you see the effect of Salvador restoring the power. You also see the screen on the interface panel at the JERI 9000 station. That kind of flares and immediately starts to look a lot healthier.
Okay, so walking into the computer core, I again slightly too loudly go, "Salvador, I found 2 medicine balls. Are they any help?"
I think this might do the trick. I think we've got the power on now. I'll take them. Hands you, does a swap, gives you the fire extinguisher, takes the balls, still has a big box under his arm. He's doing all of this one-armed.
You still got the box of xenithite with you.
Still got the box under one arm. I'm not leaving that anywhere. Surprised no one's asked about it yet. So, you've now got a fire extinguisher. I've got the medicine packs, and I'm going to run down to the admin room to try and get Ted back up on his feet.
Cool.
Okay.
I'm afraid I don't have a good fire extinguisher prop, so we're going to have to assume that one.
But write that in on your character sheet,
Oh,
on
yes,
your equipment.
a fair point, sir. Just under legally distinct pistol.
What I'm going to do now, because poor old Andy has been sat there quietly and patiently so far with this session, you're laying there in the auto dock and you're kind of dimly aware at this point of what's going on around you. So what do you notice as Salvador comes back into the admin room?
I notice a sheet over the container I'm in.
Oh, yeah.
Priceless.
I ain't dead.
So what happens here in the admin room?
I yank the sheet off.
Ah!
Open up the knotter coffin and start administering the medical gel.
Okay. Now here's how we're going to play this. The medical gel is a regenerative substance. It's a marvel of 25th century medical technology. Now what this is going to do, we're not going to sugarcoat this. Ted Branson was caught in a serious explosive incident, and that has shredded your hands. Fortunately, your environment suit has taken the brunt of a lot of the damage, but you're still messed up. It's very likely that you're coming out of this with a concussion. That would be significant because there are injuries that you've suffered at this point that you would really need something like an autodoc to set right. The medical gel is basically just going to patch up surface wounds, like any kind of damage to your skin, like tissue damage, that kind of thing. So I'm going to say that this is going to restore 1 hit point, and that's using both bags of this medical gel. The way you're going to apply it, Salvador, is that you're going to, as Ted is sort of laying there mumbling and maybe groaning, you're going to look for parts of Ted that are very obviously damaged, and you're going to be smearing that gel on there, trying to apply it where it can do the most good.
Salvador, rub it on my head.
I am
Cure my male pattern baldness. Leave my hands, my hair. It used to be glorious.
H and I sailed past Patton a long time ago.
Once I finish with that, though, I am going to set the autodoc off because I think that there is a lot more that needs to be dealt with. This is literally just a starting point.
As you're going to do that, the autodoc is going to beep, and you're going to see an error message.
Bullshit.
And it's going to say, autodoc maintenance mode requires security clearance 73C for bypass.
Guns!
I am not a 7, a 3, or a C, I'm afraid, despite that having been implied on occasion.
What it basically means is that the autodoc is going to be useless to you now. You've exhausted whatever medical supplies that you had to hand and that could be found on the station. That's going to restore Ted Branson to 1 point of health, but that's going to take an hour to take effect. And the autodoc is going to be able to perform some low-level functions that don't require special clearance. What that's going to do is basically it's going to apply mild painkillers. It's going to maybe apply some stimulants to Ted just to get him to a state where he's up and ready to sort of get up and be active within an hour.
Yeah.
So it's up to you at this point what you're going to do. How is that hour going to pass?
I have an idea.
Oh no.
And everyone is allowed to say no to this idea. Is there an office chair in the admin room?
There is, but I'm a little scared as to why you're asking.
When Ted's ready, I'm going to put him on the office chair, and we're going to push him around.
Oh, okay.
Yay!
Are there 2 office chairs in the admin area?
Now I'm really scared.
Well, a trivia fact for you. Do you know when the first car race was?
I do not.
6 seconds after they built the second car.
Walked into that one, didn't I?
And so you can see what Guns is thinking. There's no point having a man in an office chair if you can't have a race.
You guys are on the clock. You haven't got time to goof around.
I thought we had an hour.
We have fire extinguisher for accelerant.
It will take an hour for Ted Branson to be restored to a level of consciousness that he's able to be active. That's not necessarily an hour that you guys have got, depending on what your aims are on the station. You need to decide what you're going to do and how you're going to execute or not execute the mission at hand.
First of all, first thing I want to do is lean over to Ted and say, I am so sorry.
Why did he do this to me?
It was not... I didn't expect this. I cannot ever repay you, but I will find a way. I am so sorry.
Do you have a Klondike bar?
I have a burrito in my pocket, which you are welcome to.
That might do, yeah.
It's a vegan burrito, but I added extra chicken.
Oh.
It's for you. You have that. You
Can he slide a taco inside my mouth? And I can just kind of like gum it. Yeah, I don't need to be fully conscious to eat a taco.
I have no idea what's going on at this point.
All I know is if we could have commercial reality for t-shirts, I don't have to be conscious to eat a taco on a t-shirt.
I have a blender in my other pocket. I could just pour it in.
I've eaten tacos that I wished I wasn't conscious for. My God.
So I'm going to leave the burrito with Ted.
Woo!
And walk over to Guns. Guns.
Yes.
We need to have a look inside that produce vat.
Mm-hmm. Do we want to wait until we're what passes for full strength as a team? Though?
I don't think we have time.
Okay. Produce does not immediately suggest itself as something that is likely to carry guns, except for a particularly motivated Venus flytrap, so the concept of a produce vat does not entirely scare guns.
I just need to ask 2 things.
Yes.
1, do you trust that I have your back?
If I ask Ted, he might give me a different answer, but yes.
And 2, can I trust you to have my back?
I mean, you're the only thing here with a gun, so obviously I'm slightly suspicious, but yes.
But only one gun. Your name is Guns.
Yes, of course. Sorry, yes, I remember the rule. Yes.
Your name is Guns. If I had 2 guns, if I had 3 guns, it wouldn't be a problem. If I had 2, well, no, maybe I would.
Three guns is still guns.
3 guns is still guns.
You can tell because you said 3 guns.
Yes,
3 is still a plural. See, kids, the things you learn on this show.
I know, right?
Unfortunately, English is not my full language. I'm Brummy.
So yes, right up until the point you tried to steal my gun, thus giving yourself 2.
I swear.
Then I trust you.
Scout's honor. Glasnost Scout's honor that I was not going to steal your gun.
Superb. Let's go.
The Glasnost Scouts were very good.
I will take your word for it.
Now, what you can do, if you're worried about Ted Branson's well-being, is you're still able to leave him sealed in that auto dock until he recovers. It's the kind of thing that he will be able to let himself out when he's fully compos mentis.
I've just had a thought. Will the auto dock realize the burrito is not part of him?
Oh God! When does the fly go out of copyright?
I'm thinking more like Ted's going to wake up and like, what's this lump? And why are there stitches?
I'm going to presume the auto dock has not done that. if you let guns do the surgery, and apparently that is our only remaining option if someone gets hurt.
So we'll say that you're going to leave
Yeah.
Ted in the auto dock to recover for a little while.
With a burrito.
With a burrito.
I'm chewing away.
With an hour, you've got enough time to execute your kind of inspection and evaluation of the facility. You've already got a fairly good idea of what the situation is, which is basically shit's fucked.
You've been looking at Guns' reports.
Salvador, you're saying that you want to check out the produce vats.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else on the station that you want to check? It's worth remembering as well that JERI 9000 previously had made mention of security logs and surveillance records that were only going to be accessible once auxiliary power had been restored.
True. I mean, my original thought, though, was we literally press the button to open the produce vats and then press the button to close it again and turn around and respond to each other to whatever we've just seen in there.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, so, well, describe to us what happens then.
I go up to the door very carefully, gun out, single, just the one. Press the button, and then have my hand over it so when the door is fully open, we can have a quick scan of what's inside and press it again to close it. What do we see?
Well, as you move toward the west wing of the facility, which is where this huge room where the produce vats are housed, you slap the access panel that powers the door that opens into it, and you kind of get the impression that it's protesting slightly, but it eventually slowly hisses apart, and as it does, you're suddenly assailed by this awful smell which you just cannot place. It's not like anything within your field of prior experience. You know, based on your knowledge of these kinds of facilities, that the room you're stepping into it's what's called a gen food plant. And as you look in there, this huge room is lined with immense cylindrical vats. Now, these are where the algae is processed within the station. That's where it's rendered, and certain chemicals and agents are introduced to it to help produce something more palatable, or perhaps just more bountiful. The goal of this factory is basically mass production of the protein product. And you can instantly tell as you walk into this room that something has gone wrong in here. All of the vats are powered down. There's no mechanical or electrical sound of activity. But you do feel, along with this smell, there is kind of like a residual waft of that unbearable heat that was permeating the station earlier. When you restored climate control, those heat levels started to slowly come down. By the time Ted is out of the auto dock, things are going to be fairly comfortable again. But you still get that awful wash, that reminder of that stifling, heavy heat that was running through the station.
Yeah.
Each of the produce vats has got a control panel where you can see red status lights which indicate that the contents of each vat is non-viable. And there are individual terminals, kind of like workstations for each vat, and one master terminal right at the end of the room. And you know that that terminal is going to be where the processing logs are stored.
Then I press the button and close the door again.
Okay, you don't want to check anything out in there.
Not just yet. I'm
Okay.
going to turn to guns, and it looks like whatever was in there is gone off. It's completely unusable.
Yep.
Why? I'm hesitant to go in there because I've got a horrible feeling that something will try to eat us.
As you say that, almost on cue, you can hear something thumping about overhead in the panels, the vents, whatever is running over the top of your heads.
Me and my big mouth. Security room. Let's see what we can find in there.
This is going to be like when I left that pint of milk in my fridge for 6 weeks.
Let me just take a look on the map.
Yeah, by security room, I of course meant security logs, is what I was after.
Alright. The security logs are going to be accessible now via the JERI 9000 console.
Yep.
So you've just got to go a little way back down the main concourse and you can access those. And you may find that your interactions with JERI are a bit easier now.
Gerald?
Hello.
Thank you, Gerald. Do you have any idea what happened on this station to cause the power outages and what the blob creatures are?
Blob creatures. I'm unfamiliar with this concept. Please could you elaborate further?
Non-Newtonic creatures made of ooze.
One moment, please.
You hear static processing sound coming over the JERI terminal. A JERI 9000 responds eventually and says,
I'm afraid I have no knowledge of the kind of creature that you are talking about.
Well, damn.
Please could you describe what you have seen?
Non-Newtonic, sentient ooze, appears to like to eat coolant fluid, lots of coolant fluid, divides when destroyed. We shot one and it turned into poo.
That is both very interesting and a matter of some concern. One moment, please, while I consult my internal logs.
JERI falls silent again for a moment and then eventually comes back to you and says,
I do not know if this corroborates what you are telling me, but I have noticed that there is a great depletion of the station's coolant reserves. This could in part account for the power fluctuations that the facility has been experiencing. When did you notice this creature's presence aboard the facility?
Not long after arriving, it was hiding in the admin room and attacked 2 of my colleagues.
I see. One moment, please.
JERI is processing and cycling again and then says,
This is very interesting. At what time did you arrive on the station?
I don't know. Guns!
we can say, for sake of convenience here, that you can look on your wrist computer and you can simply transfer the details of your arrival over to JERI.
It's the best I could do for wrist computer.
It'll do. JERI 9000 is accessing your activity log and going over information that you're providing, and troublingly remains silent for a very long while before saying,
I see. It appears the situation aboard this facility falls outside my expertise. How can I assist you further?
I think we might need to get a communication note that says that this station is no longer tenable.
On what grounds would you say this facility is no longer fit for purpose?
If coolant fluid is being siphoned off, then whatever is eating it has now grown to a large size, an enormously, annoyingly large size, which means probably it's going to wreck everything. Also, all your algae has gone off.
The algae? You mean the produce in the gene food vats is no longer viable?
No, it is no longer viable. It has all gone bad.
That is terrible news.
JERI begins cycling again and then says,
I have noticed something quite disturbing. There appears to be an internal lock placed on my ability to send outgoing transmissions. It is as though my core systems have been tampered with.
Gerald, who was the last visitor that arrived on this station?
JERI 9000 whirs and clicks, and it seems to undergo some kind of internal process, and then eventually, at length, comes back again and says,
Consulting my operational logs, it appears that the last visitor to this station arrived 4 days ago, although tampering appears to have occurred to my internal chronometrics. I am unable to say with any great authority at what time this person arrived. Would you like to view the information stored in my surveillance logs?
Yes, please.
Very good.
and the screen on JERI 9000's access terminal suddenly flickers over to a visual interface. There's a very simple set of log entries that you can see, which are appended to internally captured video footage. There are a number of very grainy looking low resolution surveillance camera clips, and you can see that the date and timestamps on these things are all jumbled and gobbledygook. They don't even follow any kind of accepted format in their file name. It's like somebody has purposely scrambled them.
Mm-hmm.
But you can see that there are playback options for each one.
I will play them in order.
In order.
Mm-hmm.
The first clip plays, and you see that the surveillance cameras are trained on the landing bay of the facility. And you see a Gramtech supply vehicle, a very nondescript, very standard looking shuttle, alights into the landing bay, sets down there. The view from the camera switches over a few times, and you can see that the landing bay appears to be functioning properly. You see that security robot, the enforcer that you encountered in session 1. You see that trundles up to the rear access hatch of the shuttle, and as that access hatchway kind of opens up and a ramp descends, the security robot backs away, and an employee in Gramtech overalls, who you can't really get a decent look at in this video, seems to be bringing out a large flatbed trailer, just carefully maneuvering it down the ramp and then around the ship toward the main concourse. As the employee does this, the security robot turns toward them, and the two of them appear to interact. This seems to go on for some time. There's no audio, you can't tell what's being said.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, the security robot appears to be satisfied, turns on its axis and turns to spin away. And at that point, the person in the Gramtech overalls reaches into their pocket, takes something, and appears to affix it to the security robot just before that video clip cuts out to static.
Okay. Play the next one?
You want to go straight to the next clip?
Yep.
In the next clip, you see a view of the main concourse, and you see those two flatbed trailers. You've got a slightly better view of what's in those trailers now, and you can also get a slightly better view of the employee. You can see that it appears to be a woman. You can't get a good look at her features because she's wearing a peaked cap. She's wearing old style aviator sunglasses. There's nothing really remarkable about her appearance, but you can see that she has her hair tied back in a ponytail. And the supplies on the flatbed truck appear to be biologics, chemicals, agents for use in the gen food vats.
Mm-hmm.
And you notice that under her arm she has a box, a fairly substantial looking box, which is identical to the one that you're now carrying. And then that clip cuts out.
I'm just going to side-eye Guns. Just see if he's noticed anything, or if he asks anything, he says anything.
It's nice they formatted these clips for dramatic effect.
Guns, give us an education roll, please.
Oh, Christ.
And this is going to be difficulty 6 because you're being given numerous heavy hints.
Fucking hell. 6.
6. That's a success with a complication.
That might be the first educational success he's had since he very nearly learned the ABC song.
How I'm going to rule that plays out is that as you're sort of looking at this grainy footage, even with McGregor's kind of low observational acumen, we'll say, you notice that something is amiss here. You notice that box under her arm, and your eyes move toward the box that Salvador is holding. And the complication we're going to introduce here is this immediately gives you a bad feeling. And I'll leave it up to you as to what that bad feeling is and what it's about.
Okay. So he is now extremely suspicious of the editing of these videos.
Okay.
Like, he's going to massively overanalyze exactly when they're cutting out and assume that there is some conspiracy across all the entries to provide exactly the information they're providing. Which is, of course, not the case. This is just how the security system has recorded motion. He's going to massively overanalyze that.
To what effect? I'm curious. I mean, are you going to say anything about this? Are you going to ask any questions, or...?
As of the end of the next video, probably, because he's kind of pondering this as the third video plays, assuming there is a third video. So he is highly likely to massively ask pointless questions at the end of the next video, depending on exactly when it does cut out.
Okay. There are 2 additional video clips.
Okay.
Now, as you watch these clips in sequence, some doubt starts to raise in your mind as to whether these clips are actually filmed in sequence. The next clip, you see the woman who's handling these trailers. You see her in the gen food processing room. You see her offloading boxes and canisters of materials. And she is in the room with the 2 adjunct units that were stationed there as well. You notice that she's handing some of these goods over to the adjuncts. And as the adjuncts take them, they're moving away. And they're going off to store or install components or materials. And at one point, when the adjuncts don't appear to be paying her any attention, you see that she is kind of joining in with their activity. She's loading canisters of chemicals into the gen food vats. And as she does this, she drops the box. And you see those ingots spill out. She hastily picks them up and starts putting them back in the box. And you notice that as she's doing this, as she's tidying these ingots back into the box, trying to do so very quickly, you suspect because she doesn't want the adjuncts to see what she's got there, she looks at her hands and she makes a motion like this on her overalls, and then immediately picks up one of the canisters and loads it into one of the processing vat cylinders.
Given his knowledge in the video quality, does Guns recognize what the ingots are?
You do.
Okay.
Xenithite is a fairly well-known commodity.
Okay.
And there's one final clip as well. That clip is extremely blurry, and it seems to be appended to a longer surveillance log So it's almost like this is something that's been deliberately messed with and isolated. And in this clip, you see the woman moving toward one of the bunk rooms. The angle of the shot doesn't make it clear which one it is, but when she comes out, you see that she no longer has the box, and instead she has that dinner plate sized biometric lock device, and you see her fix that to the door and start operating controls on it.
Okay. So, why did they stop editing that before they showed us where she got a case just like yours? And why is the other one blurry? Maybe they did that so we wouldn't see the code.
Maybe.
As you two are discussing this, in the admin room, Ted Branson is starting to stir back to consciousness. I'm sorry you've been sidelined for so much of this session, Andy.
That's how it goes.
Tell us what's going on with Ted as he comes back to full consciousness.
Nothing. Just happy to be coming back to consciousness, I guess.
So just bleary-eyed, kind of like, 5 more minutes, Mum.
Sure, yeah.
You can hear voices, you can hear the discussion. It's kind of muffled because it's coming down the hallway. You're having a struggle to hear it through the enclosure of the auto dock. Are you going to try to get up and join the rest of the party?
Yeah, might as well.
Okay. So as you shamble out into the main concourse, Guns and Salvador, you notice that your companion's coming back to rejoin you.
Guns is interrupted from a tedious piece of exposition as to who exactly was holding the camera for those videos, and where he might pick up one of those lovely boxes that everyone seems to have. He hasn't quite put 2 and 2 together regarding the exploded bunk room. Hey, Ted, how you feeling?
Oh, a bit woozy, a bit hands blowing uppy, the usual.
Cool.
Worth mentioning as well that it's at this point that Ted looks down and notices that his hands, both of them, are caked in medical gel. They are completely covered to the point that you will not be able to physically manipulate any kind of object for the duration of the scenario.
My hands are goo.
Yes,
No.
I found some medicine balls, Ted. They seem to have worked.
Do you want me to touch your face with them?
You're saying you want to rub your balls on my face.
My handballs.
And I know damn well he's going to cut that out, and he should. But I still had to say it.
It's my immediate thought. I've got to edit that out. But then, I saw something on Glass Cannon Network last week that was just infinitely worse than that, and they left it in. So,
Yeah, fair enough.
if you've seen the "If It Ain't Baroque, Don't Fix It" episode of Getting the
not
Trick,
yet.
you know what I mean. So,
The pun's already bad enough.
okay, so the three of you are there in the hallway now with access to these video logs. I'm assuming that you guys are going to spend some time analysing these video logs.
Mm-hmm.
What do you make of them? And the way we'll spin this is that now that Ted has rejoined you, and you can mark your health back up to 1 point, by the way, and
Woo!
don't spend it all at once.
Woo!
No, really don't.
The way I'm going to spin this is that now that that Ted's back with you, you've got an opportunity to discuss these logs amongst yourselves and perhaps theorise and talk over what's happened and what you're going to do next.
Whoever this lady was, I don't think she was working for Gramtech.
You'd think whoever was filming the videos would have asked her about that.
In fact, I'll tell you what. We could have an education role from Salvador.
Okay.
Oh, thank Christ.
and we'll use this to decipher what you glean from repeated viewings of these surveillance videos.
So that was a 5,
That's
6,
promising.
7, 8, 9.
9. Okay.
Mhm.
I was going to say it was standard difficulty, so that's a success. This video confirms certain suspicions that you've had forming.
Mm-hmm.
There's no question in your mind that that box that she's carrying is the same box you've got now.
Yes.
It's the box you found in the bunk room. That was never really in doubt. Apart from the slow kids in class.
Okay, fine.
But what you notice, or kind of what these repeated viewings of the surveillance logs bring forth in your mind, is that you are aware that it's a thing that goes on with the mob.
Mm-hmm.
That they will use facilities like this as drop-off points for contraband. That was an idea that you already had.
Yeah.
But now that you've seen this kind of proof of nefarious activity going on, and you've seen somebody wearing a Gramtech overall, this suddenly sparks an epiphany in your mind, and you think back to that message that you got. It said, you're about to learn that you really need to pay more attention to who you work for.
No.
You realise now that that was not a comment on the people that you work directly with. It had nothing to do with Guns McGregor and Ted Branson.
Thank you.
Gramtech is run by the mob.
It's obviously got some connection to organised crime. Either that, or the person wearing that Gramtech uniform is posing as a Gramtech employee, and something has been going on this station without your knowledge.
Gerald,
Yes.
can you filter a single item in a video to work through all other videos?
I am unsure of what you are asking, but I am sure I can try.
If I ask if people have been entering the station with wooden boxes, could you tell me how many people have come aboard the station? No, better way of looking at it. How many people have come up on the station and gone straight into bunk room 1? Boom room, as we now call it.
I am unaware of any prior visitors to the station who have carried any such object. Bunk Room 1 and Bunk Room 2 have never been accessed since the station came online. I am unaware of any such meddling.
How many visitors have you had since becoming operational?
One moment, please. Excluding those members of staff who were present during the inception of this facility, the facility has accepted a total number of 4 visitors in the time it has been operational. The last visit prior to the one recorded in my recently accessed surveillance logs was 2 years ago.
$1 to a dime, they've all done the same thing. They've all dropped something off in that room, or picked something up from that room. Gerald,
Yes,
how structurally safe is the landing dock right now?
the landing bay appears to be...
At that point, JERI suddenly bottoms out. Its signal appears to fall flat, and there's another power fluctuation. Or what appears to be a power fluctuation. You then realise that it's not actually that, it's a change in the facility's operational status. Pulsing lights start to flash along the length of the main concourse, and an automated voice pipes in and says,
Attention, all facility personnel. Vessel docking in main landing bay. All personnel are advised to remain within the main complex until docking is complete.
and you can hear automated sounds. You can hear a rumble from within the landing bay. And what's happening here is that you're being alerted that somebody else has arrived on site.
On the plus side, we're about to find out if the landing bay has integrity.
Gerald, Can you please show us a link to the landing pad?
Certainly.
JERI 9000, fritzing out slightly because of this conditional change across the station, suddenly shows you on that screen on the access panel an interior view of the landing bay. And you can see that slowly pulling in and settling down alongside your ship is a rather intimidating looking vessel, a small one, but it has a very severe navy blue and yellow paint scheme. And there are symbols along the side of it which identify it as belonging to the new Wolverhampton mob.
No.
And we'll pick this up next session. What are you looking for in the power control?
I am looking for a little romance, maybe a dance, maybe a lady in red who's dancing with me cheek to cheek.
To be fair, I very nearly made several references to the Snap single "The Power" earlier before getting interrupted very sensibly, so this could have gone down that hole.
Okay, so you've got into the computer core. What? This is me desperately trying to make a link.
You checking the name computer core that overtly was hilarious.
And that's why we edit.
Have you just written computer core on a piece of paper in large letters?
I was always going to show you, but the map has got all the secret stuff on it.
Fair enough.
I'm such a clever GM.
X marks the place where all the medical stuff is hiding.
Aliens are here, and here.
You know what the best thing about the Star Trek coffins being fired into space is? The lack of momentum. So all there is momentum. So there's no drag.
Mm-hmm.
So those coffins are going to go flying forever until they're caught in a gravity well of some description, which means that there is every possible chance that a sentient race's first experience with another life form is a dead body crashing through the roof. And I find
They
that
could
hilarious.
go into space stations or like a ship.
Yep. Yeah, completely. I mean, the chances are that they would hit a meteorite and there's just bits of Spock just floating around through space.
Well, there's a cheery thought.